Welcome back to Politics HQ on News Central Television. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has avoided the election of Senator Elisha Abbo, representing Adamawa North District, and declared the PDP candidate, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Amos Yohanna, as the winner of the senatorial election. Yohanna has sued Abbo, the All Progressive Congress, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, before the tribunal to challenge the outcome of the senatorial election. In the petition, Yohanna argued that Abbo's election should be invalidated by reasons of corrupt practices and non-compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, adding that there was overvoting at various polling units among other misconducts. However, the three-member panel of the tribunal dismissed the petition. Not satisfied, Yohanna appealed the tribunal's decision. The Court of Appeal, in its judgment earlier today, has now voided the verdict of the tribunal and upheld the appeal of Yohanna. Now, joining me, reacting to the judgment, I beg your pardon, Senator Abbo urges constituents to remain calm in a press release that was put out earlier this evening. Now, joining me tonight on Politics HQ to make sense of this latest development is Deji Ajare, is the Executive Director of Sterling Law Center. One welcome to you, Mr. Deji Ajare. Thanks for joining us on Politics HQ.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Now, I mean, it's election petition season, and we've seen this happening at all levels of elective positions, political positions in the country, and this seems to be the latest in the series of appeals and overturning and declarations by the courts. Deji, can you provide an account of the circumstances that led to the Court of Appeal's decision to unseat Senator Elisha Abbo as the senator representing Adamawa North, and what legal arguments were made in this case?
Yes, thank you again for having me. I think the election petition, which led to the appeal here, is one that, for me, I think every lawyer who is interested in election petitions should look at and borrow from, especially those who feel aggrieved about the outcome of election results. Because what happened here is that the lawyers did a very fine job of impressing it on the minds of the judges of the Court of Appeal that indeed there was substantial non-compliance with the Electoral Act, which impacted on the outcome of the election, and particularly Section 137 of the Electoral Act. And it is from this point of view that the Court of Appeal reached a decision that as a result of that non-compliance, certain results were invalid. And interestingly, what the Court of Appeal did is to deduct from both parties. So the Court of Appeal deducted results from both parties from those results that it was that it considered that it was proven, and the court agreed that indeed for those polling units there was non-compliance with the Electoral Act. And after the deductions, it became clear that the PDP candidate was the winner, at least won the majority of votes from the valid votes. And I think from all of this, it is clear that if we as citizens are very conscious during the electoral process, if we are interested in at least having the genuine and real the desires of the citizens to reflect in the electoral process, then all we need to do is to just be very, very cautious, to always ensure that we take our time to capture events at election polling units, and ensure that these events are also transmitted to those who are eventually going to handle the cases in court. This is a very big lesson, and I think lawyers should borrow from it.
Now, Deji, this decision to remove Senator Abbo as the senator representing Adamawa North federal constituency was done via a unanimous decision by the three judges on the panel. What's the significance of that? Does it mean that if he does go ahead to appeal this decision, it will be what some people refer to as does it make the PDP's position a slam dunk that three justices did confirm and uphold this judgment? So going to the Supreme Court will just be a waste of the court's time, or it doesn't necessarily work like that in law?
Okay, now this is it. First, the fact that the majority of it was a unanimous decision of the three-member panel is simply a reflection of the fact of how well
the case,
the PDP candidate and the PDP, how well they were able to convince the court. And so for me, that is what it is, and it simply it shows, a firm commitment to that process. However, I think it is immaterial whether it was a unanimous decision or a majority decision. You see, for a case for a senatorial election, the Court of Appeal is the final arbiter, and in the hierarchy of Nigerian courts. So having contested this matter at the tribunal and then now to the Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal is final and it is infallible. And it's sad and unfortunate for Senator Abbo that he feels aggrieved. But unfortunately, going by our current law as it stands today, his grievance, he can only take it to God, because after the Court of Appeal, there is no other court that can hear his appeal anymore. And I don't want to.
Wait, sorry, I need to get your last statement clear, Deji. You said after the Court of Appeal, there's no other avenue for appeal, just to get you clearly.
Of any nature that can entertain any further appeal after the Court of Appeal in a senatorial election.
In a senatorial election.
And infallible.
So it doesn't have any other legal means. So what's the implication of what you just said? What's the current status? Does he remain a senator of the Federal Republic, or would INEC issue another certificate of return to the PDP's candidate, Amos Yohanna?
Absolutely. The implication is that the implication of this judgment is that the earlier certificate of return that was issued to Senator Abbo is invalid. It is immaterial whether he returns it or not. It is immaterial in whose custody it is. It is now, from today, invalid. And INEC is compelled by law to issue a new certificate of return to Senator-elect Yohanna, having been declared the validly elected senator representing Adamawa North constituency. And so it is imperative to respect and abide by the judgment of the Court of Appeal. This decision does not only affect the parties, it also impacts on the political landscape and the societal trust in the electoral processes. And so we cannot, INEC or the political parties or the candidates cannot select judgments of the court that they will honor or not honor. And so it is a binding decision of the Court of Appeal, and it is final, like I have said.
Thank you very much. Now, finally, as just before I let you go, Deji, Ajare, looking at the broader political landscape in Nigeria, what do you think this case signifies for Nigerian politics and the judiciary's role in resolving election disputes? It's INEC's responsibility to conduct elections and declare election winners, but these days we see that even after conducting elections, you still have to hold your breath, because we see a flurry of election petitions going to the judiciary. So what do you make of all of this in the future of elections in Nigeria, and also the role of the judiciary?
Well, election petitions are a part of our electoral process. And so I have a grouse with those who have a problem with they were decisions of court that upturned those who, the INEC's the declarations of candidates. Because if we do not have confidence in our judicial system, then, of course, at the end of the day, there will be no need at all in the first place for us to actually have provisions that enable aggrieved parties to go to court to seek redress, and that would mean elections are likely to be a actual war. But I think it is the anticipation of the fact that we're human, there are likely to be flaws, and we're not, infallible, and so it is that anticipation and that understanding that led to those who craft our laws to include the provisions for challenging the outcome of elections at election petitions and even appeal processes. So the decision carries immense weight, and it sets a precedent, or rather, it consolidates the precedent that has been set in earlier cases, particularly in Osun State, and it holds a lot of implications for future electoral disputes.
Thank you very much, Deji Ajare. Always a pleasure speaking with you, Executive Director, Sterling Law Center. Thanks for joining us tonight in Politics HQ.
Thank you very much for having me.
And this is where we draw the curtains in today's edition of Politics HQ and New Central Television. Thank you very much for being a nice company. See you tomorrow. I am Gbenga Aborowa. Bye-bye.